Hi everyone, I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am a soul therapist and an intuitive that connects with the angelic energy. This is your weekly energy reading where we talk all about what to expect out of this weekly energy and how you can make the most of it this week. I also will later dive into some tarot cards on the other side of the channeled messages so that we can build upon the messages. It's so funny because last week I said people don't stick around for the tarot sometimes, and you should stick around for the tarot because to me it really nicely ties up the reading. And I got so many messages from so many of you who were like, I stick around to the end, I watch the tarot. And I loved hearing that so much because it means everything in the world to me that you guys stick around, that you listen to the messages, that you connect with the messages, that they resonate with you. I love hearing from you guys. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. If this connects for you, that's going to help you to make sure that you catch all of the readings that I'm doing here. Hit that like button, comment below. I always love to hear from you guys. It's just so beautiful to know that these messages are reaching people. And I don't know, it's like starting to feel like that's happening more, and I'm really loving it. So tell me how you guys are doing, how you guys are feeling. I did a quick little video yesterday just connecting on the other side of that lunar eclipse, and my entire system yesterday felt so taxed. I was so exhausted while I also had this weirdly energized focus to do some of the things that I needed to do. And so I was kind of like dancing in and out of those energies and feeling like just like physically unwell. And I know that I wasn't sick. I knew that I was processing a lot of energy. We are processing a lot of energy. So I'm curious if you guys are feeling like physically off at all. What are those symptoms? Somebody sent me a text and said that that there was a lot of like ear ringing, and I've had people say like they've had like eye pain, like sinus pain. There's been so many different things. And the thing is, like, our bodies all process energy so many different ways. And when it gets to that physical layer of our energy field, we're going to feel it. And when we're processing a lot of energy, it flows through our system, and it can really throw us off. You might feel anxious. You might feel like yesterday I felt like my nervous system was like hanging on by a thread, that the slightest thing that happened would send me into feeling so overwhelmed. And I was aware of it, so I was able to bring myself back into balance pretty quickly. But I was aware of it, and I knew that you guys are out there feeling all of this. We've had so many solar flares, solar storms, all of this stuff that's happening. Now we are officially in this eclipse portal. So we're on the other side of that lunar eclipse, but this is bringing us into that new moon solar eclipse on April 8th that we all have been expecting, right? That's going to be a total solar eclipse. And so here we are. And this is a time period where, frankly, just expect the unexpected. There's so many moving parts here. There's so many things that are happening. I like to see eclipses like this opportunity for the universe to pick us up and pull us out of the things that we're not meant to be connected to and move us to where we're meant to be connected to. So I want you to notice where the energy is moving, where you're being led. I think that like a lot of it's not going to make sense. And can we allow that to be okay? Can we allow ourselves to not need clarity at every given moment, right? To kind of just trust the process, to follow the flow, and to see where it's leading us. Because so many times eclipses will lead us into these places that we didn't even know were possible for us, that are positive, that are good, that are a level up. But we have to allow that process to happen, that process to unfold, because a lot of times it's like outside of the realm of our possibilities. So we don't even see it for ourselves, but God sees it for us. The universe sees it for us. And so we're being moved, we're being led, but the process to get there looks messy. It looks chaotic. It feels messy. It feels chaotic. It feels overwhelming at times. And so my sense of this energy right now, but as we navigate this week, the next few weeks, is that you're going to be all over the place and you're going to be feeling all over the place. And by the way, if you haven't watched last week's energy video, watch that, because all of that stuff still applies. I feel like we're looking at a bigger energy here. And so it's not going to be as limited to the week in the weekly energy, right? There's so much carryover from the messages that I talked about last week, but we're here in this week really navigating this unknown and these changes that we are feeling called to make within ourselves, within our lives, but also the changes that are happening for us. And like I said, we're gonna find ourselves being all over the place. And that's okay, because that's exactly where we're supposed to be. Emotionally all over the place, mentally all over the place, like physical sensations, feeling like we're all over the place. One minute we might feel balanced, one minute we might feel a little bit crazy right now. So can we be kinder to one another? Can we be intentional in terms of how kind we are to one another, intentional in terms of how kind we are to ourselves? Because we need that right now. There's such a call for self-care as we navigate this energy. So there's a lot of change and a lot of discomfort, but I also feel like there's so many beautiful blessings in this energy. And that's why, like I say, that we're going to be all over the place, and that we are all over the place, because I think that we're tapping into these moments where, and if you haven't gotten here yet, I think that you will this week, where we're overwhelmed with gratitude, where we're taking a look at where some things have progressed or things that are developing and happening this week, and we just get hit with like that overwhelming gratitude. And it's really beautiful, and a sense of peace and a sense of joy and a sense of being supported. But just as quickly as we're tapping into that energy, I feel like we swing all the way to the other end, where we go into fear, where we go into distrust. I've been talking for a little while about, can we like just trust that it gets to be easier, that we're supported, that we're being led, that we're being guided, and allow this process to unfold. So there's still this human ego want to like move back into that fear, right? Where it's like, but this hasn't happened for me yet, and I'm afraid that this thing's gonna fall apart. And you know, like, so we go into all of that fear and that mistrust and this concern that things aren't going to work out, and it pulls us right out of this beautiful energy that is available to us. So I want you to think about, like, what are you tuning your dial to? Because you can tune into the gratitude, the peace, the joy here in this energy. You can center yourself in this energy, or you can let that fear become a runaway train, because if you allow it to, it's going to this week. I was saying in my monthly energy reading in my membership, like, this is not, like, you're not going to be able to hide from yourself in this energy. You're just not. Your stuff is going to come up. It's going to be brought to the surface, but know that it's being brought to the surface for a reason. It's allowing us to work on the things that we need to work on. And for so many of us, it's working on fear, right? It's working on letting go of fear. One of my favorite prayers around fear is, please heal my fear-based thoughts. I use that all the time. I will ask for that, especially right before I go to bed, because I feel like there's a lot that can happen with the subconscious and with that clearing if we invite that in just before we go to bed. So that's a really beautiful bedtime prayer. Please heal my fear-based thoughts. So we're working on releasing fear, and we're working on coming back to our gratitude and working on finding peace no matter where we are, no matter what is happening in our lives, no matter what isn't happening, because there is like a frustration that we can be feeling if we choose it. A frustration with certain things not happening, certain things not developing just yet. And if we stay in that, you're going to be miserable this week. But if you recognize, like, oh, like, you know what? I am really grateful for this thing that's happening, and that was a really beautiful moment. If we can keep moving back to that, if we can keep coming back to our light and our peace on a consistent basis, and we have to be conscious of this or you're going to move out of that. If you can do that as often as possible, I think it can be a really great and a really powerful and magical week. We're getting ready. We're in the pre-shadow also for Mercury retrograde. So we have an eclipse portal that we're in. We're moving into Mercury retrograde on April 1st. So next week, it's a lot. And our whole system feels it. Our whole system knows it, right? It's like, oh, like, what else? What else is coming in? But what if what else is coming in is something great? Because I still feel like there's powerful things happening for us, these amazing plot twists that are happening in our favor. We want to be aware, like I do feel like there's a little bit of this energy of us feeling like we're having a temper tantrum with the universe, right? Like feeling really frustrated to the point that like you actually will, like, if you took a step back, recognize like, man, I'm really just having a temper tantrum right now. And it's okay. Like you get to feel what you feel and be frustrated, but just intentionally keep choosing to come back to your light, and also let it show you where are you being called to make some changes, or what needs to shift, what needs to work on, where are you being triggered. And like that trigger isn't there just so you can be pissed off or upset, right? It's there because it's meant to show you where there's work to be done. We're always working on ourselves, or ideally we're always growing. And so that's really important. Let it be cathartic. Let it be healing this time, but also let there be light, and keep coming back to your light again and again and again. And you're going to do that by being very intentional about how you're taking care of yourself. When I was connecting with this energy, I also heard that it's going to be important for us right now to be resourceful, right? So we may be frustrated with like the way that certain things have not happened for us, or are not happening just yet, or that we don't have the resources that we believe that we need to make something happen. But this is where we get to be resourceful. This is where we get to say, okay, where are the solutions to this? And I would encourage you to think outside the box. I would encourage you to be open to different ideas that will support you in being resourceful. You might not have all of the things that you believe that you need for that, but if you really get resourceful, can you kind of get some things together in order to make it happen? I don't know what it is, but you will know. That's something that will be coming up for you. And I think the answer to the question, how do I make this happen? It's to be resourceful. This thing that you're feeling called to do, we're going to be called to pull from our strengths, from our resources that we have been developing. Why do you think we've been working so hard on ourselves for the past few years? This has been creating warriors of love within ourselves. You know, like we've been strengthening ourselves. We've been learning, what do I need? How do I take care of myself through turbulent energy? This is definitely turbulent energy. How do I take care of myself in that? If you've been doing your work, you already know the answers to that. You know what works for you. You know what you need. And I'm not saying it's not going to look messy. You're not going to look messy. Expect to look messy. Expect to feel messy. It's okay. You're all over the place. And you're exactly where you're supposed to be, because it's showing us, it's moving us, and it needs to be happening in order for it to move us where we need to be. So we need to trust it and allow it. I also, when I connected with this energy, heard that we really need to be mindful about how we are comparing ourselves to others. If you're letting yourself compare yourself to others, whether somebody has something that you want and you're getting frustrated because you don't have it, or there's an opportunity that's been offered to somebody and you're frustrated because that's an opportunity that you would really love. I feel like things like that have a way of showing us things that we would like and that we would like to create for ourselves. I think that it's better, rather than to get caught up in the jealousy of that, or to let yourself go down negative rabbit holes around all of that. Can we instead come back to that and just recognize, like, okay, so that's something that I would like. That's something that I desire. And acknowledge that, so that when we decide that we want to intentionally manifest some things, that we can focus on intentionally manifesting that. That's all that that's showing you, rather than, like, the other option is to focus so hard on that person and to bring a whole lot of negative energy into your experience, to bring in maybe some negative karma because you're so focused on not wanting somebody to succeed that you can create some real issues for yourself. That's not going to be the path. The call is to stay in your own lane, to focus on you. And I truly feel like when we get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, that we step away from our intuitive guidance as to what our best life path looks like, right? You're never going to uncover your magic, what God wants to express through you, what you're being called to create here in this world, if you're so focused on somebody else's magic and what their path looks like and how that's unfolding for them. Because what happens is you end up creating like a carbon copy of yourself, but it's never going to be, it's going to be a dupe, right? It's not going to be the exact version of that because you are letting somebody else's path lead yours. So this is the call. In this energy, you might not feel clear on some things, but let it show you, like, what is your magic? What needs to be expressed in the world? And what does that look like that is uniquely to you? We can be inspired by other people. We can be even influenced at time by other people, but we ideally want that to look like, this is me. So that's a message for somebody, because I feel like some of us can get really caught up in that sometimes. And I feel specifically in this energy, that's not going to be helpful. So stay in your own lane, do the things that you need to be doing. We also don't need to be adding in any extra pressure. And I feel like when we're putting pressure on ourselves to make something happen that is somebody else's path and not ours, we're like setting ourselves up for disappointment and failure. So what does it look like for you? What is your magic? Let that be uncovered, because I feel like this energy has a way of uncovering that for us. Be you. Be you. Like, this is about authenticity. How do you need to show up authentically in the world? And that's going to look different for each and every one of us because we're all built differently. I mean, I feel like that's obvious, but like, how often are we doing that, where we feel like we need to do it this way, or we need to structure our business this way? One thing that I've always said in the work that I'm doing is I'm very careful to not let other people's business structure and the way that they say, even like, this is the exact right way that you need to do things. I've never subscribed to that, because quite frankly, my intuition is going to tell me way more than some so-called expert, is going to tell me. And so I've always honored my intuition with that. I think that there's a need for us to be honoring our intuition, letting it show us how we need to be showing up in the world right now and where we're being led, but also finding a way to find peace amongst the messiness, amongst the chaos that is happening and is going to be happening. This isn't going to be done this week, guys, but trusting that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, because it's leading you exactly where you're supposed to be. It's showing you what doors are opening, because I feel like there's a lot of doors opening, but what has to happen in order for doors to open? Doors have to close. Like, what doors are closing for you? What doors haven't been decided whether they're opening and closing? I feel like some things are undecided right now, and part of that is just about us exploring, having experiences, and identifying, what is it that I actually want? What is it that is going to be best and right for me? So we're going to pull some cards. Let me know how you guys are doing. You guys are quiet today. Let me know how you're doing. What's going on for you? Are you feeling any of these things? Are any of these themes showing up for you? Are you feeling like the magic in this? Are you having those moments of powerful gratitude? Or what are you feeling grateful for? Like, what this week has come up for you in that? And can you stay in that energy just a little bit longer? Can we just be like, you know what? No, let me come back to what I was just really excited about, because there's lots of things that are developing that are exciting too. Lots of things. So it's intense and confusing, but beautiful all at the same time. Isn't it all beautiful? Yeah, we've got that moon card. I'm not surprised, but I'll talk about it. I will talk about it. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, yep. All of these cards just make perfect sense. Beautiful sense. 10 of Swords in reverse. Where are we holding on to things that we need to be letting go of? Where are we taking a second look at some things, deciding, do I really want to walk away from this? I feel like there's a lot of exploration that's happening and a call to go within and let ourselves explore what's right for me, what's not right for me, what needs to come to a close. What have I been holding on from the past for way too long? And this is an opportunity here in this eclipse portal for me to release it, for me to let it go. I would just be intentional about it. I choose to let this go. I choose to release this. I choose to move forward. And then again, finding a way to find peace exactly where you're at. Even if you don't know all the answers. When do we know? Even when we think we know, do we actually really know? Lots of curveballs that are happening, but I feel like there's a lot of positive curveballs. Queen of Wands. This might be a great time to balance ourselves out with something creative. I think that we might feel really creative in this energy. So noticing that, and that might be some of the blessings that are happening. There's a strength that has been developed that is continuing to be developing within us. This energy is turning us into this Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is the most powerful, most authentic queen in the tarot. It's supporting us in becoming our most authentic self. So if you are in a place where you're not connected to your authenticity, where you're not honoring who you authentically are, the life that you want to be authentically living, this is really going to call you to the carpet and say, well, what changes do you need to make? As we lean into that authenticity, we become that Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands doesn't care about what anybody thinks. So maybe some of us are being influenced, being impacted by other people's opinions. And this is really saying, clear out everybody's opinion. This is a time to go within and to quiet all of the noise and just tune in. Just listen to yourself. What do you want? Where do you want this to go? What inspires you? And let that inspiration lead you. We've had the Page of Wands. We don't have that here today, but we've had the Page of Wands a lot. What are you excited about? What are you passionate about? Let it lead your path. Let it lead your journey. The time for swimming in our own bullshit is done. And the universe is calling us to the carpet saying, are you going to live your most authentic life or not? We're giving you the tools that you need. I know this is a little harsh today, and I don't mean it harsh. It's more like to inspire us to lean into that, because I think in so many ways we've been afraid. So it's leaning into that, because as we lean into it, I've been talking about ease, right? As we lean into our authentic selves and our authentic path, like it just feels easier because you don't have to pretend anymore. We're done pretending. Maybe that's what we're done with here. We're done pretending. We're taking a look at what we want, what we don't want, and doing a whole assessment with that. 8 of Swords. We're also learning how to get out of our own way, get out of our own heads, stop keeping ourselves stuck and held back. I think that there's going to be inspiration, potentially in the form of a challenge in some way, to get out of our own way. I've been saying this, like, it's time to get out of our own way. It's time to stop holding ourselves back in the ways that we've been holding ourselves back for so long. This is an energy of like, of calling us to become this Queen of Wands, right? To have the confidence to just own it, whatever that is for you. Yeah. Renee says, ready to move forward in all of her authenticity. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that we are, right? Like there's this energy here of like, we're tired of our own bullshit in some ways. And this energy might support you in getting more tired of your own bullshit in order to support you to moving forward. The Knight of Pentacles. It gets to be easy. I'm going to just keep saying it, right? It gets to be easy. It's like when we get the fuck out of our own way, blessings come in. Where do you need to get the fuck out of your own way? And allow what wants to come in, because this is stability. This is having the resources that we need. This is an offer of some kind of peace, stability, balance, financial something, right? It's like what we need. It's the thing that we've been waiting on, that we need to bring more balance into our lives. But there's something here about getting out of the way in order to allow it. And also we've had to be incredibly patient. So I think, in fairness to us as a collective, we're a little tired of waiting. The Knight of Pentacles moves very slowly, and we're tired of waiting. But just because it's been delayed doesn't mean that it's not happening. So this is such a time of holding powerful faith, because we can't see it. Moon card, we can't see it. We don't see it. It's cloudy, it's confusing. We have no idea the blessings that are coming in for us. We might intuitively feel it on some level, but our human steps in and is like, yeah, that's just a dream. That's just, are you deluding yourself? But ask yourself, do I truly intuitively feel it? Because I really feel like if we intuitively feel it, these things are coming in for us. I also feel like this is that call to go within, to listen to ourselves, to take the time and the space to balance ourselves out. It's intense. This is making the unconscious conscious. So we're working on that. Like, what am I not conscious of that I need to work on, that I need to change in order to allow my blessings to come in? Blessings I've been waiting on for a long time. We also have to be willing to move forward no matter what. Six of Swords. And that's like easier said than done, right? Fear will hold us back in so many ways. But to be willing to move forward. See this woman and her child on this boat? They have nothing with them, but they're trusting this boat to carry them into something better. And to me, that's exactly what an eclipse portal is about, is leaning in and trusting that no matter what kind of craziness is happening all around us or within us, because sometimes it's not outside of us, it's in ourselves, it's this process. No matter what kind of craziness is happening, it's leading us into calmer waters. It's leading us into better places. It's leading us to where we're supposed to be. It's picking us up from out of circumstances that we do not belong in anymore and bringing us into situations that do belong. And in some cases, there's this energy of like going back in some ways. I don't know what that means, but like a going back and revisiting something that maybe we didn't appreciate the first time around or feel ready for the first time around. There's something about that here in this energy, especially as we move into like next week and the next couple of weeks. So, take some deep breaths. There's a lot happening. We're navigating a lot. You are a rock star. Whenever I ask about this, I'm always shown that God sent the absolute strongest souls to the earth right now to do this work, to hold the light, to witness this planet ascending, and it's happening. There's a lot that's happening on a collective level. There's a lot that's happening for us personally. What a ride, but it's a really beautiful ride that's bringing us exactly where we're supposed to be. So hang in there. Definitely buckle up, but hang in there. We're getting there, and we are doing really amazing things. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. If you made it all the way to the end, let me know you made it to the end. I was so happy to hear that from some of you last week, and I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support. Please share, like, comment, share it with somebody who needs to hear these messages. If anybody came to mind during this reading, whatever you feel called to do, but I appreciate you all, and I will see you soon with another video. Take care, guys.